Hi, and welcome to episode 45 of CultureWatch Radio. I'm Andrew Smith, and with me is Mr. CultureWatch himself, Bill Muhlenberg. Bill, blessed are the troublemakers, especially the godly ones. What could possibly go right?
Well, we could use a few more, Andrew, that's for sure. And lately on this show, we've been featuring some of the champions, and we're on a bit of a roll, I think. We've had a lot of great Christian activists on the show, even a few non-Christian maybe, I'm not sure. But as we continue with this series, I think it is worth to honor some of the champions that have been fighting the good fight, some for many years. A lot of areas where the battles take place, the culture wars in general, the sexuality issues of more recent times, the heavy-handed government lockdowns. But one of the old battlegrounds, if you will, one of the real areas of fight is the fight for life, standing up for the unborn, standing up for the elderly and all those in between. The war on life with abortion, euthanasia is just... Well, it's been with us for a long time now and doesn't look to be going away, but thankfully God does raise up warriors who will especially make this their kind of driving passion, their main aim, and they'll do more than just talk or pray. They will act and sometimes get into mischief. So I believe we have one such champion here today.
Yeah, we got Kathy Clubb on the line. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Kathy, you've been on the pro-life scene for quite a while now. How did you manage to get tangled up in this in the beginning?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I actually came out of a very, very bad place to a very good place. I'd just been through a marriage breakup and I was feeling very, very sorry for myself. Thought I was probably the person on the planet suffering most, if you could imagine that. And I felt God speak to me one day and say, stop looking at yourself. There's this whole class of people that's suffering much more than you are, and that's the unborn babies, and you've got to do something about it. And that was literally the beginning of all these years of work that I've been doing.
Wow.
So it came out of my selfishness, to tell you the truth, and God picked me up and he put me where I am now.
And how did you actually start after that?
I was living in Tasmania then, and so the first thing I did was just started contacting different organisations that I'd come across online and just made myself known to them, and I ended up helping out a local Tasmanian group at first. Then we had the exclusion zone law come in Tasmania, and abortion was legalised at the same time through all 9 months. So I was able to join that campaign and just help out any way I could then, and started praying outside the abortion mill down there as well.
Yeah. Over time, you've actually managed to have some run-ins with the law, getting yourself arrested, and also some high-profile court cases.
Yeah, that's right. After a while, I moved to Melbourne, and then the exclusion zone law went through here as well. And a group of us decided that this law needed to be challenged, and I drew the short straw, and I was the one that was arrested and went through the Magistrates Court, High Court and Supreme Court to challenge that law. Unfortunately, our challenge was unsuccessful.
Yeah, so were there still good things that came out of that?
Oh, absolutely. It raised the whole issue of abortion into the public eye again, which is always a good side of anything legal that's happening. And I was really, really encouraged by the way, particularly the Australian Christian Lobby, because they were big supporters of my case, how they mobilised so many people to be praying and to just give me personal support, and it got them more activated as well. So I think that was probably the most encouraging thing I saw, was the way Christians were just standing up and talking about this and donating money. You know, it was a very expensive case. So, yeah, there's some of the good things. There are probably lots of things we don't know about as well.
Yeah. Lately, you've been taking some prayer groups to the freedom marches in the city streets. How's that worked out?
Amazingly well, actually. We've been 3 times now, and we started with a group of about 60 or 70 Catholics walking from St. Patrick's Cathedral to Parliament, praying. And it quickly grew to 700, 800 people coming with us. And we're going back again this Saturday.
Well, that's pretty much your own march already in itself.
It is. We were going to be doing it just at St. Patrick's Cathedral, just circling the block there to pray and oppose the segregation that's happening in the churches. But when Daniel Andrews' bill went through the lower house, we thought, no, we'll go and we'll join the secular protest at Parliament. And so that's what we've been doing. And it's been really wonderful, actually. There have been some other church groups there as well, I think, that have done a similar thing.
Yeah. And on a high court cultural note, which I'll just pun with, how was the vibe?
In the city? Honestly, we found it very positive, and because we've been praying, it was very peaceful from our side of it, and it was very hopeful. It was hopeful. And that's what really struck me the last time, probably more so from seeing footage than from standing there, to see the hope in people's faces, these people that have been locked up for more than 200 days and have been disempowered by what the government's doing, were finally able to get out and have a voice and vote with their feet, so to speak, and find out they're not alone. There are tens of thousands of people who agree with them, and that there's actually some hope that Daniel Andrews won't have his evil way with the state.
Yeah. When you joined with the others at these marches, I mean, were they the crazy renter crowd that go protesting every weekend, or are they regular people?
No, there were very, very few of the crazies there. There were a couple, but the overwhelming majority was ordinary people, just mums, dads, grandmas, granddads, children, families, and just ordinary people, not political people. A lot of people have told me this is the first time they've ever been out on the street, and the first time they've ever been involved in anything political. And that's the kind of people that are attracted at the moment.
Yeah. And given that you were there and you know what happened at the event, how does that correlate with when you see the media coverage?
Well, they're lying through their teeth. They're part of the problem, and we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now if it wasn't for them with this whole coronavirus hysteria that they've been pushing on us. So I'm not surprised to see what they say, but it's a barefaced lie. And, I wouldn't be surprised if the gallows guy was a plant from the left-wing renter crowd to make us look bad. Someone was been charged with threatening Daniel Andrews with violence. Well, of course, that's abhorrent, but, we don't even know how much of this stuff is true. They lie through their teeth, the politicians and media, so I put very little trust in anything they say at the moment.
Yeah. Bill, it sounds like the masses are waking up.
Yeah, well, about time. As an American living here now for over 3 decades, I'm well aware that there's tended to be more passion, more action, more commitment, and even more willingness to spend time in jail in America, not just for the pro-life causes, but more recently the COVID lockdowns where pastors have defied shutdown orders for their churches and so on. Here in Australia, it's a bit, it's been less so over the years, but yeah, of late it's been much more encouraging. The pro-life issue, Kathy's been one of the few who here in Australia has spent time in the slammer. We got Graham Preston up in Brisbane. He'd be another one. But that's, there's not many. In terms of pastors defying these irrational no worship orders, we've interviewed Paul Furlong already on this show. We've had others, Monica Smith. We've talked to So, there's a slow awakening, it seems, where ordinary people, as Kathy said, just normal mums and dads, concerned citizens are saying enough is enough. What's going on is it's madness. It cannot continue this way, whether the slaughter of the unborn, the war against basic human rights and freedoms in the name of keeping us safe. So, hey, I'll take the masses, and even if it's still a minority, even if it's still a remnant, which is often the way God works, at least we are getting some movement. We're getting some folks waking up, and that's all for the better. As we speak, there may be a last-minute miracle change to the vote on this horrible pandemic law, and if it does happen, and that could be the topic of our next show, well, it'll be groups like Kathy and the ones she's with and other Christians who didn't just, sign the occasional petition or shut up a quick prayer, but increasingly, as Kathy said, went into the city, got involved in the heart of the action, joined with non-Christian protesters, but did the most important work, praying, letting your voice be heard, showing up where it counts. So, that all gives me hope. For the first time in a long time, in a couple of years now, I'm getting hope, and it's thanks to people like Kathy Clubb.
Yeah, I don't think these people are going to go back to sleep for a long, long time. Always on the pulse, there's more at the Culture Watch website, and we'll see you again next week with another episode of Culture Watch Radio. Subscribe where you listen at SoundCloud, YouTube and Rumble so you don't miss a thing.